days and a lazy boy in a mansion on a hill. Or catch a fast train straight to New Orleans, or a slow ship down to Cozumel. I could waste away my spare time watching football with my friends, but I'd rather get my rod and reel and go fishing when I can. I wanna go fishing, 'cause it takes my stress away. I wanna go fishing, try and cast my blues away. I wanna go fishing, I don't want to watch the clock. I wanna go fishing, I don't ever wanna stop. There's nothing like a morning bite when the fish are eating well, or a new crankbait that's running straight over a rocky ledge or tree that fell. A new shiny boat that I can tow to every lake that I can find. So when the weekend comes and the work gets done, I got one thing on my mind. I wanna go fishing, 'cause it takes my stress away. I wanna go fishing, try and cast my blues away. I wanna go fishing, I don't wanna watch the clock. I wanna go fishing, I don't ever wanna stop. I wanna go fishing, 'cause it takes my stress away. I wanna go fishing, try and cast my blues away. I wanna go fishing, I can't wait to leave the dock. I wanna go fishing, I don't ever wanna stop. It's what I love, it's number one on my list of things to do. I wanna go fishing, that's what I wanna do. Yeah, I wanna go fishing, that's what I wanna do.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Stories of possession are the fashion nowadays. The invasion by the devil of a person's body and soul in order to control his actions. But possession has an insidious sister as demanding and disastrous. Obsession. The occupation of the mind by an idea or desire so dominating that one can easily find oneself equally at the mercy of the devil. This is one such story.
I kept thinking, what kind of trip am I on? Of course, it couldn't be you, Susan. Nobody can talk underwater.
Come to me where I lie, but keep my secret. The time is not yet. Remember, not yet.
Nobody could talk underwater, but somebody did.
Our mystery drama, The Sea Nymph, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Norman Rose and Paul Hecht. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule. I'll be back shortly with Act One. all have heard of Morgan Childs. His wealth, of course, is legendary. His many and varied interests, equally so. Bicon Rubber Company, which spans the world. His coffee and sugar cartels. The Machine Tool Company, 2 airlines, homes in England, Palm Springs, New York, Greece, and Zurich. The Childs Foundation and its offshoots. The Medical Center, the Institute for Research, the think tank at Berkeley. His many wives. His florid lifestyle, his art collection, definitely a name to be conjured with. A man of many obsessions. One of them to be his undoing. A man with all the strings of life in his hands, save one. The one on which his own life depended.
Your name?
Scott Fallon, sir.
I don't like sir. Call me Mr. Childs.
Yes, sir. I mean, Mr. Childs.
Better. Age?
25.
Height?
6'1".
Weight?
185.
You look in prime condition.
You can check my Navy discharge papers for that.
How many hitches did you do?
2.
Why did you get out of the Navy?
Not enough money. I didn't want to be a frogman all my life.
How do you propose to make enough now that you're out?
Start my own marine diving and salvage company. As soon as I get enough money to swing it.
Well, you go to work for me and you'll have more than enough.
Oh, what's more than enough?
$500 a day, 7 days a week, and I want all 24 hours. Guaranteed 6 months, full option on your services up to 2 years.
That's more than enough. How many bodies do I have to bury? How many fathoms deep?
Nothing like that.
Is it inside the law?
A shade either side, perhaps. But I guarantee that you will not suffer if the law intervenes. I think you could be my man. So I'll tell you what I'm after and see if you'll join me.
Well, it don't hurt to listen.
No. Come with me.
Where are we going?
You'll see.
Hey, secret panels. Whew, that's quite some safe.
It has to be. It is the entrance to a vault very few people have ever entered. Just one thing before you do. I want to guarantee that everything you see or hear from now on is top secret.
What guarantee can I give but my word?
I'll take it.
How can you be sure?
I can. You have been a marked man ever since you walked into my house for this interview. One false step and you won't be marked anymore. You'll be erased.
Hey, just a minute. Just a minute before you open that damn door. Now, I don't like blackmail, mister, and I may not want your job.
Well, that's up to you. Now, shall I open or not?
Well, I guess I'm hungry enough. Okay, open your door, Mr. Childs.
Very well. After you, Scott.
Holy cow. It's like a pharaoh's tomb.
No sarcophagi or corpses. You mean that it's sumptuous?
Yeah, that's a good word. Hey, why would you want to hide all these treasures away from every... Stolen, huh?
Oh, really, Scott? Do I need to be a thief? Most assuredly not stolen. Each of them either treasure trove or bought and paid for.
From whom?
My dear boy, I don't ask questions when I have the opportunity to purchase a Rubens or a Rembrandt or an El Greco or a statue like this, which almost certainly must have been sculpted by Michelangelo. Can you imagine? No private collector in the world since Lord Elgin has been able to claim such a treasure.
In private?
In private, of course. Governments today are most high-handed about proprietary rights. I prefer the old adage, finders, keepers.
And you think you've found something else you want to keep?
Correct.
Something under the sea?
Splendid. You are very astute.
I wonder.
Now, let me open this cabinet. I don't want you just to see this through the glass. I want you to touch it.
What is it?
What does it look like?
Part of an arm? With a hand? A couple of fingers eaten away by long exposure to the sea and... something that looks like an arrow that it's holding.
Exactly. It is a fragment of a bronze casting made in the 4th century B.C. The subject, a sea nymph named Thalassia. The sculptor, the immortal Praxiteles.
That's good?
Good. Oh, my dear boy. If I were to tell you in millions what this statue might be worth, and here it is, right at my own back door.
Here in New York?
No. On the island of Kidius in the Aegean Sea. I'll explain all about it on the flight over. The island was named after a King Cydias, said to have been a grandson of Poseidon and guardian of the sea nymph Thalassia. There is a very pretty legend about her which helped me to recognize the tremendous value of the broken arm I found.
Well, what was that, sir? I mean, Mr. Child.
Oh, call me what you will. I don't feel old anymore since we're off on this venture.
Well, I didn't mean to suggest that you were.
Just a whim of mine, an idiosyncrasy, no matter.
About Tallahassee, whatever her name is.
Thalassia.
Oh, yes, Thalassia.
You see, she was surpassingly beautiful and not equipped with a mermaid's tail. There really was no reason why the boy, Adrianos, did not return her love, except perhaps that Cydias had marked her for his own when she came of age.
The old goat.
He wasn't old. Perhaps about my age. But that's beside the point. One day, so the legend goes, the god Eros, he of course was the Greek god of love.
The little chubby guy the Romans called Cupid with bow and arrow?
Arrows, Scott, arrows.
Oh, pardon me.
One day, flying over the island, Cupid, seeing Thalassia sunning herself on a rock, flew low over the water to look at her.
This kid was sex man.
He flew so low, his wing inadvertently brushed a wave, and in no time he was floundering helpless as any land bird in the water. Thalassia rescued him and bore him ashore. As a reward, he drew an arrow from his quiver, giving it to her and telling her it would win for her any man she desired.
The arrow in the statue's hand?
Correct.
Well, what happened? Didn't she get to use it?
Yes, she waited her time until one day her guardian was returning to the island by boat with Adrianos aboard. Just as dusk was falling, she swam under the boat, coming up on the other side so that those aboard the boat who were watching the sunset had their backs turned toward her. She rose from the sea, plunging the arrow into Adrianos' heart.
Well, the whole thing backfired and she killed him.
No, not quite. But it backfired all right. A chance shift in the wind twisted the boat off course, and the arrow, instead of reaching its intended target, went through the back of Cydias to lodge in his heart.
And he didn't need it since he already wanted her.
Yes.
So how'd it turn out?
Tragically. In horror, seeing her fate sealed, rather than give herself to Cydias, she sank into the sea and was drowned.
But she was a sea nymph.
In the moment of giving her love, she became mortal. The sea was no longer her home, but her grave.
So this old-time sculptor made a bronze statue of her?
Yes. It was commissioned by Cydias and placed in a temple overlooking the sea.
Well, what happened to Adrianos?
I don't know that anyone knows.
Oh, hey, we're coming down. Oh, ears are popping.
Yes, we're very nearly into Athens.
And from there?
My private yacht is moored in Piraeus. It's being specially outfitted.
With diving equipment?
The most modern obtainable.
And then we sail to Cydias, huh?
Correct.
And more underneath that temple?
More or less. The temple is no longer there, of course.
Well, then how did you stumble on, the piece of the statue?
2 years ago, my ward fell in love with the island. She wanted to stay there, so I bought a villa. Last year, while diving off the rocks, I found the arm.
You dive?
Well, I used to. A slight heart condition has ended that activity.
Yeah, that's too bad. But then, I mean, before that heart thing, you didn't look for the rest of it?
Even at my best, I couldn't. The piece I found was only in 60 feet of water at the edge of a drop-off. As if in one last attempt, Thalassia had tried to keep from slipping to the bottom of the ocean.
Any idea how deep?
I had soundings taken.
Man?
200 feet.
Hey, man, you don't want scuba. You need a deep sea diver.
No. Not enough mobility, and they'd attract too much attention. Are you going to back out?
I might just think about it.
A little late. The landing gear just came down.
But in spite of the implied threat, I was going to think about it. That's a hell of a depth to work at. Then I saw the girl. She was waiting for us with a chauffeur in a limousine. And if she'd been as plain as a freckle, she would have stood out. But with that tawny mass of brushed gold hair, the sea gray eyes, and that figure, she would have stood out at a Miss America pageant. I took one look at her, and I was hooked.
Scott, this is Susan Gentry. Susan, Scott Fallon.
Hi, Scott.
Miss Gentry?
I didn't expect to see you here in Athens.
Oh, I bummed a plane hop over with Theo. I wanted to sail back with you on the Sea Nymph.
Are they finished refitting her?
It's the word I got from Captain Malice this morning.
Were you aboard?
No. Georgios is usually an old lamb, but he pulled rank on me. Pretty high security around there, Uncle. What's going on?
We all piled in the limo for the short ride to Piraeus. Susan and Morgan Childs were busy with small talk in the back while I sat up front with a chauffeur, frustrated. I could hear, but that didn't interest me as much as seeing, and had to wait till we got to the dock. As we headed out the jetty, Morgan Childs' hand was on my arm, holding me back so that Susan went ahead of us toward the big 48-foot twin diesel ketch that was moored there.
She's beautiful, isn't she?
Terrific, out of sight.
I'm talking about the boat.
Oh, yeah, of course, sir.
She's all yours. The ship, I mean. My ward is something else.
She sure is.
I want to point out one thing, and I will point it out only once. I'm Susan's guardian. She's the daughter of an old friend. He left her in my keeping.
Yes, sir.
I intend to keep her.
His eyes were steely blue. I was so mad that I kind of blacked out. Suddenly, there was this voice.
No, dear one, no. Remember me. Remember the last year. I'm waiting for my time.
What the devil was that? And then suddenly my mind was clear. And strangely, I found myself understanding that old legend. Why Adrianus wouldn't give the nymph a tumble. He'd been warned off by old Kydius just the way I'd been. I was in way over my head.
What is this? Ancient history repeating itself after 2,500 years? But so far, Susan has shown no particular interest in Scott. So that leg of the triangle is left open. If it should be closed, will the pattern still be the same? We'll know more about that when I return shortly with Act 2. The Aegean Sea, since it is a part of the Mediterranean, is the same breathless blue. In the summer months, the sky reflects the color of the ocean, a great arching bowl, cloudless and infinite, unchanged and unchanging since 3 millennia ago when Ulysses lost his way among these ancient islands on his long journey home from the Trojan Wars. Somewhere among the scattered hundreds of dots of gray-white rock that dapple the dark mantle of the water is Chittios. And standing off to sea from the headland where the temple with the statue of the Sea Nymph stood so long ago is the ketch that bears her legend on the transom.
Well, why can't I go with you, Scott?
Forget it, Susan. This is over your head.
Come on. I've been diving with you the last 3 weeks.
It's getting too deep. Now, even I don't like going down this far myself.
Well, then don't.
I gotta, Susan. I gotta find that lady.
Why?
Boss man says so.
And when he calls the tune, you dance?
Well, that's what I get paid for. Hand me that hood, Susan. It's cold down there.
Here. You're going to wear mittens, too?
Uh-huh.
Hey, what's the holdup? I thought you'd be overboard by now.
Well, it takes a little longer to be ready to dive this deep.
Here, let me give you a hand with the tanks.
I'll help him, Uncle Morgan.
I asked you not to call me that. Did Captain Malice position the boat right for you?
Yep, far edge of the grid. This is as far out as I'll be diving. In this gear, anyway.
200 feet?
Check.
How many dives at this depth to complete the sweep?
Oh, 8 to 10.
And if you don't find her?
You'll need a bigger tender and a whale of a lot more equipment.
It's no good. You, see that?
What? Uh-oh, government?
It's too far to make identification, but I wouldn't be surprised. They've overflown us a couple of times in the last few weeks while you were below. So far, they've accepted us as just a pleasure craft.
The woman's influence. With me aboard, what else could we be?
I am very well aware of your value to me, Susan. Now be a good girl and go aft and tell Jorgus to break out the fishing gear so we can continue the illusion.
But I want to go with Scott.
No, I told you, Miss Gentry, no go.
Hurry, my dear, that plane is getting too close for comfort.
Oh, try and have anything nice.
She's something else.
And I urge you to keep reminding yourself someone's else. You haven't forgotten.
No, Mr. Childs, I have not. And I'm sure you wouldn't let me.
You're perfectly correct. Well, tanks secure?
Yep, all set.
Want a hand going over?
No, I can manage.
Here, let me check the standoff on the ladder. Okay. How long will you be under?
Oh, a couple hours. That'll give me 60 minutes on the bottom. What happened to the plane?
It veered off to the south. I don't think it was a patrol plane. Now take it easy on the bottom. Give yourself plenty of time for the ascent. I wouldn't want to lose you. Not at least till you finish the job.
Oh, thanks,
You're welcome. Cherchez bien la femme.
I've always had an eye for the ladies.
I know, from your dossier. That's why I warned you to be careful to keep your eye on the right one.
I heard you the first time. You don't have to keep... Hey, what the hell?
Susan, what happened?
Hey, listen, you lame brain. I told you this dive was out for you.
Yes, teacher, but I didn't listen. And don't bare your fangs at me, shark. I'm only going to be your pilot fish for the first leg. See you at the 100-foot mark.
You get after her and send her back to the surface, Scott.
Now, don't worry, sir. Leave her to me.
Leave her to you, young man. Oh, no. Only for the moment. So, she is infatuated with you. That becomes more and more obvious. I suppose I should have foreseen the possibility, but I really gave you more credit, Susan. I thought you had matured enough by now to realize you could be no one's but mine. Patience. She'll accept it in time. The habit of being rich is very hard to shake, even for someone as romantic as our underwater demigod. Fortunately, the boy seems to know his place. But I think, yes, I'm quite sure of it. I must have a little talk with Susan.
I'm quite all right, thank you.
Just extending a helping hand.
I don't need one. I'm a big girl now.
Oh, I quite agree. But that was really a foolish thing to do.
Why? I'm perfectly at home in the water.
I know that, my little water nymph.
Oh, I'm not your water nymph. She's down about 150 fathoms down there.
Ah, that one. Yes, I hope. Now, let me get your tanks. Yeah, that's it. I have them. I take it when you left him, Scott continued on down.
Yes.
Well, he should be on the bottom by now.
Oh, long ago. He was using the line to climb down.
I wonder if... Oh, here, I'll take the flippers.
It's okay. I'll just toss them in the tack box. You were going to say you wonder if you'll find your grubby statue today.
Yeah, something like that.
What are you going to do if he does?
Get her on board?
Oh, pretty heavy, wouldn't she be, with only 3 men aboard?
No, not with the block and tackle. From the piece I have found already, we know she must be hollow cast. She shouldn't weigh over 250 to 300 pounds.
She doesn't sound quite your type.
Oh, well, I have very Catholic tastes.
Just an idle thought, but supposing the Greek Navy should show up anywhere along the line and find you in the process of smuggling out a national treasure, what would happen to you?
I don't really like to think. Greek prisons are not noted for their hospitality or comfort.
What? You mean Daddy Warbucks would be up against a rap all his money couldn't fix?
I hate to admit it, but it's one gamble I hope never to make. The Greeks take an exceedingly dim view of despoilers of their culture or their historical heritage.
Then why risk it?
You see, it's an obsession, Susan. To own whatever I conceive to be priceless or unique which falls into my path. No matter what the cost. What is it now?
Nothing. Oh, it's just the buckle on my weight belt. It's foul.
Let me get it for you.
No,
I said let me get it for you.
I can manage. It's like I said, I'm a big...
You don't have to tell me that you're a big girl. I've been aware of it longer than you think. Susan, I've waited as long as I can. I want you. Not as my ward, a surrogate daughter, but as a woman.
You have to be kidding, Uncle. I mean, Morgan.
I assure you that I am serious. Dead serious.
But I'm less than half your age.
And totally dependent upon me.
I don't have to be. I can go away.
Where? How? With what?
I'm not penniless.
Oh, but you are, my dear, you are.
But my father left you money.
Your father left me nothing but you, my dear. And a mountain of debts which I cleared for him so that he could rest in peace.
Oh, no. Morgan, please. Don't make it sound the way you do. Please. Daddy couldn't have. He didn't mean me to.
No, it won't wash, Susan. You're much too smart a woman. You must have known for some time, or if not known, guessed how things really stand. And don't blame your father. He was thinking of you.
I think you must be mad.
Possibly a little. I told you that I am a man of obsessions, but also a man of patience. I can wait a little longer, but I warn you, once the obsession is there, I never stop till I get what I want. I blame myself, naturally. I was too eager. I should have been content to bide my time a little longer. But I've been having a few bouts with angina lately. I told myself it was just nervous tension because both my treasures were so near, but not yet attained. Still, it did remind me that with one heart attack behind me, I no longer, particularly at my age, could count time an ally. Sooner or later, I would not have the patience to wait. How soon, I realized only 2 nights later.
Susan.
Oh, how about a hand, partner? The girl is pooped.
Hey, hold it down. What did you do? Swim all the way out from the house?
Oh, I didn't fly.
Hey, you must be out of your head.
Oh, let's say desperate. I wanted to talk to you without Uncle Morgan around. Or any of my other jailers.
Keep your voice down.
Jorgus won't hear us. I can hear him snoring.
No, but your uncle might.
Morgan? But he's back at the...
No, he's not. He came out here to the boat about an hour ago in the dinghy.
Where is he now?
Asleep, I hope.
What did he want?
A showdown.
About us?
Us?
He knows, Scott.
Knows? What the devil is there to know about us?
He knows how I feel about you. And I've heard him warn you off what he considers his personal property often enough.
No, wait a minute, hold up. You got some notion that I got a thing for you?
You know you have. Just as I do for you.
Susan,
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah. Heaven help us. It's true.
Oh, I love you, Scott.
So do I. But I gotta get you off the boat before he knows you're here.
I can swim back.
No, not a chance. No, I'll row you back.
We shouldn't risk it. If he finds us together...
We'll take that chance. If he does, then it will be showdown time.
You know he's mad, don't you? He might even have us killed.
No, I don't think so. I've got one ace in the hole I've been holding out, trying to figure how to use.
What?
I found his damn statue. I found it a couple of weeks ago. I'm the only one who knows where it is. Maybe I can trade him one ancient Greek maiden for one certified American beauty.
I heard it all. I could have killed him right there, but it was better to wait. I still wanted both women, and Scott was the key to them. To find one, and to use it to get the other. Then, he could die.
I do introduce you to the nicest people, don't I? But then, what would a mystery be without suspense? And what better suspense than a bona fide threat of death to people you care for? Or don't you care what happens to Scott and Susan? If you do, I hope you'll be waiting when I return shortly with Act 3. sky, its beams sparkling on the barely heaving bosom of Homer's wine-dark sea. The small boat and its two occupants are silhouetted boldly on the water as, nearing the shore, Scott rests on his oars, allowing the dinghy to float silently.
Damn moon.
Don't. It's a lover's moon.
Yeah, and the losers if we get spotted. I don't want to risk getting any closer inshore till it sets.
I can swim for it.
Oh, tide's running out. Current's against you. Why risk it? Hey, you guarded at the villa?
Not openly. But the servants are all his people. There's never less than 2 security guards. That's what they're called. Gunsels. No uniforms. Shoulder pistols. And they look like everybody thinks the mafia ought to look.
How did you get away?
They just patrol the fence and monitor the gates. They figure there's no way out by water.
I wish I could see a way out by land or sea.
Why did you hold back when you found Thalassia?
I don't know. Maybe I was just greedy.
For what? The money he's paying you?
Oh, that. And maybe I wanted to be around you a little longer.
That's sweet.
Only it had to go and turn sour. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. Maybe she was right.
She? Who's she?
Oh, forget it. That just slipped out.
Well, I can't forget it. You sounded so strange.
Well, I was that day. The last dive. I was on 3 a day. Remember how woozy I was the last time up?
I sure do. Even Morgan made me cut you down after that. You scared me out of my head. Remember, I came down after you. You acted just like you had narcosis.
Well, I figured it for raptures of the deep myself. Only after what happened down there, or what I thought happened...
Tell me.
Well, it was my 3rd trip down. I was about 180 feet just below the edge of the cliff, sweeping out to the western end of the grid we boxed out, when suddenly I heard it.
Adriano, over here, I'm waiting for you, waiting.
At first, I thought it was your voice. I mean, it sounded just like you. But then it had said Adriana, so it couldn't be you. And then I thought, what kind of a trip am I on? Of course it couldn't be you. Nobody can talk underwater.
Come to me where I lie, but keep my secret that I did not yet remember, not yet, not.
Nobody could talk underwater, but somebody did. I swam towards the sound of the voice, and there she was, half buried in the sea floor on the side where the arm had broken off, the other one reaching out as if to say, "Here is my hand. Take it. Take it." But not yet. I shook it off and I started up, decompressing. And on the way, I decided to play a gut hunch, and I buttoned up. I didn't say I'd found the Sea Nymph. Tell the truth, I wasn't sure the whole thing wasn't some kind of mirage.
You suppose it was?
I double-checked the next day, and there she was.
Did she... Oh, I know it sounds silly, but... Did she speak again?
No. She was just a 2,500 years old statue worth millions who for my money can rest in peace right where she is. Hey, there goes the moon behind the cloud. It's dark enough now for me to get you ashore.
I'm not going.
It's our only chance.
I know what you're planning to do. Offer him a deal to let me go.
That's the general notion.
It won't work. He'll kill you and hunt me down.
Oh, no, he won't. Not if I have to kill him first.
God, He's armed. Who's the captain?
They're both old. I'm young. And I still have the trump cards.
What?
I know where the statue is buried. And I'm the only one can get to it. I'll see you have enough head start, and I'll meet you after. We'll make a rendezvous.
We still don't stand a chance.
Not right now. But play our cards as they lie. And I have a hunch, a real strong one, that we'll pull it out. It was a tough job convincing Susan. But finally, quite suddenly, she gave in. And I landed her and headed back for the catch. I held back one thing from her. My hunch. That was too screwy to admit, even to myself. It haunted me that somehow, some way, Alasia was a lady who was going to bring us luck. But it sure didn't look that way as I got back to the Sea Nymph.
Forgive me if the sudden light blinds you, Mr. Fallon. The better to see you with. No sudden moves, please. Both the captain and I have guns.
All right, no moves. Just get that damn light out of my eyes.
Good time. First, what did you do with my ward?
I took Miss Gentry back to the shore.
Good. That saves me the trouble of having to arrange for her return.
How did you know she was here?
As it happens, I wasn't asleep when she arrived. I overheard everything that was said between you. Everything.
Good. Saves a lot of time. Now get rid of your stooge here, and we go up to the bridge and deal.
I admire your effrontery. Deal for what?
Your lady for mine.
No, Nikos. No. Give her everything she needs. Car, money, whatever she wants, and let her go. No. Don't follow her. She's to be absolutely free. 1 minute. Are you satisfied, Scott?
Not quite. Put Susan on the phone. Let me talk to her.
Very well. Nikos, put Miss Gentry on the phone. Scott.
Thanks. Susan? Susan? You all right? Yeah, darling. Everything's all right at my end. No, it's going to work out. Yeah, as soon as you get to America, call me and let me know. When I know you're safe, I'll take Morgan to his 2,000-year-old date. She's a bit nearer his speed than you are. No, my darling. Not shipped ashore. We'll be waiting at the villa for your call. Yes, I love you too.
Now what?
We wait for Susan's call. Come up to port a couple of degrees.
Aye, sir.
That'll do it. Hold her there.
Steady as she goes.
Now just thread the needle between those twin rocks.
Yes, sir.
Now you can drop her to idle, let her have her way.
Neutral it is.
Now I'll go forward now to run out the anchor. When I give you the signal, hard astern.
Aye, Captain. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Your fearful trip is almost done.
Hard astern.
How long will you be down?
First dive will be a good 3 hours. Take me that to get her dug out and the rope cradled around her. Second dive, will be a short one, just to attach the winch rope. But I'll need time to decompress coming up.
Yes, but can we raise her by sundown?
All things being equal, it'll be a long, lonely day for you.
Well, I'm sure I can find ways to pass the time.
Yeah, but it better not include having a surprise party for me when I come up. Now remember the deal. This is just between us two.
Yes, I remember. You're sure that we can get her on board?
We'll manage.
We'd better.
We will. And then we sail under power to Piraeus, and you drop me there free and clear.
You will be free and clear, my friend. Count on that.
Okay. Here goes nothing.
I can't believe I'm really going to see her at last.
She's a little the worse for wear.
You said she was intact. Nothing could dim her beauty.
You can judge for yourself any minute. She's about to break water. There she comes. All right, slow down the winch. Slow down. We'll swing her aboard. Okay, easy now. Hold it.
we'll leave her like that just for a minute, standing almost tiptoe on the deck. Oh, Lord. Is she magnificent?
To each his own.
Yes, we'll just try the arm now to make sure not too much has been lost. Look at that. Almost a perfect fit.
Well, so long as you're happy.
Oh, my dear Scott, I couldn't be more delighted. Everything has turned out quite perfectly.
Okay, now you live up to your part of the bargain.
Oh, you should know better. I never make bargains, or if I do, I feel no need to live up to them.
This is a double cross?
Of course. You didn't think I'd let Susan get away from me?
She already has.
With my resources, how long do you think it'll take to track her down?
You forget what happens if you do. I blow the whistle on your affair with this lady and that secret room back home. Are you going to give up all your priceless treasure for two little people like us?
Oh, you just aced me.
Well, you knew the terms.
I also knew that I still held a trump.
What?
Dead men tell no tales. Shoot him, boys.
What?
Forgive me, Thalassia, but yours was the weapon which came to hand. Well, Mr. Fallon, you really are a dead weight. What is the good thing I took the precaution of tying your hands? I thought that you had left us.
What are you trying to do?
I'm committing you for burial, suitably weighted down.
No.
I'm sorry you made the mistake of remaining alive.
Wait, Morgan, no use. Greek ship around headline. You're caught red-handed. Don't make it worse.
I don't believe you. You're all I have to fear. So die, Mr. Frogman, die.
Ahoy, the Sea Nymph. This is the Greek Navy. You are ordered to remain at anchor. They are coming aboard.
No, you're not going to take her from me. If I can't have her, no one shall.
So where was the Greek scuba team? We'd arranged the whole thing.
Darling, navies are navies. They wanted to wait until the statue was dropped to the deck to make the full case against Morgan. They were hanging in at 5 feet using sound equipment to monitor.
Oh, great. So that's how I almost bought it, huh?
Darling, it was just a miracle the way it happened.
Yeah, who fished me out?
Well, what do you mean? You know you had no air, so I kept you buddy breathing till I could get you back to the surface.
You were there?
Sure. I had proprietary rights. Besides, I didn't trust that other dame you've been tripping with.
Who?
Thalassia.
Did they get her up again?
Brought her up this morning. And Morgan's body with her.
Clue me in on that. What happened?
He was trying to get rid of the evidence, I guess. He was swinging her out over the sea when the winch let go. And somehow his foot got fouled in the winch chain. She took him right to the bottom.
How about that? 2,500 years she waited for her revenge.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe I'm still a little scrambled in the brains department. But didn't the three of us live out a legend that first happened about 500 BC?
I guess in a way we did.
Yeah. Only this time the twist has a happy ending.
Yes, darling.
My buddy,
My breath is your breath.
my time is your time.
My house is yours. Let's go home.
I said at the beginning that obsession was possession's insidious sister, and that it could put one equally at the mercy of the devil. What a happy thought that this time it was the devil who was obsessed, and who sowed the seeds of his own disaster. I'll be back shortly. The great archaeological museum in Athens houses such superb examples of the unparalleled sculpture of Greece's golden age as the boy on the horse, the statue of Poseidon, the beautiful young man who may be Paris, all in bronze, at least one of them dug from the sea. But the temple on the island of Chidios takes no back seat. The statue of Thalassia, the Sea Nymph, which has been restored to a pedestal near where it originally must have stood, would be the showplace of the island, if it existed. But of course, it doesn't. You must allow us storytellers some poetic license. Our cast included Norman Rose, Paul Hecht, and Jada Rowland. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Don't worry about her.
Yeah?
She doesn't mean it.
You don't know Gussie?
I know her better than you do.
What are you talking about?
You see, I know everybody better than you do. I even know you better than you do, Bones.
How you know my name is Bones?
I told you. I know you.
What's your name?
Apple.
Apple what?
Just Apple.
Where'd you get that name?
It's symbolic.
Of what?
The Garden of Eden.
You look like a hustler to me.
I am. I am the king of the hustlers.
Yeah, is that a fact?
Yeah, an accepted fact throughout the world.
Accepted by who?
Everybody. Even you.
Me?
Do you accept the fact that the devil is the king of the hustlers?
Well,
I happen to be the devil.
The what?
The devil. Mephistopheles, Satan.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by X-Lax and True Value Hardware Stores. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Spine-tingling voyage into the depths of the unknown, the uncharted. In fact, in this story, we're going to the depths of the sea, to the uncharted depths never explored before by man, except one man, David Wells, who entered a kingdom and a world so strange, so fascinating and terrifying, it defies the imagination. For the kingdom of the sea is all-encompassing. The boundaries of the beaches don't necessarily keep the power of the sea from exerting its influence into any life that has touched it. David Wells learned that the hard way.
David, what's the matter?
It's Napoleon. He's fighting with someone. I'm going to find out.
I'm coming with you. I raised Napoleon. I can help.
Napoleon.
He's dead, David. Darn about.
Who could have done this? Why?
He's soaking wet.
Napoleon.
Oh, I wouldn't touch him.
Mr. MacArthur, look here. On his fur.
Oh, those white flakes.
Yes. They're fish scales. His fur smells of salt water.
Salt water, David? In the middle of Texas?
Our mystery drama, Child of the Sea, was written especially for the Radio Mystery Theater by Bob Duran and stars Tony Roberts. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One. God had wanted us to swim, he'd have given us fins and gills. A caution, perhaps, that man functions best in his own environment. But man has always yearned to venture forth, defying nature, determined to overcome the barriers that separate the elements. David Wells is just such a man. Heir to a Texas oil fortune, David shuns big business and instead prefers the high mountains, the ski trails, the open road. The mysterious ocean is David's fancy of the moment as we meet him in the waters off Laguna Beach, California, surfing and scuba diving.
I was 100 yards offshore. The water was clearer than I'd ever seen it. Graceful fish swam up to me, their curious mouths speaking silently and then darting off in fear. Suddenly, I spotted a strange formation at the ocean floor. I swam closer to investigate, and then it lunged and grabbed my arm before I knew what would happen. It was a squid, huge, a tentacle wrapped around my air tank. My air supply was cutting off. I fought desperately. My lungs were bursting. I was blacking out. Then, I saw swimming around us a huge fish. I couldn't tell what it was. But through the haze of pain, I saw it was a girl. Not a fish, but a girl attacking the squid that held me. My air was gone. And the last thing I saw was the girl's long, flowing hair. And then I blacked out completely.
Are you all right now?
I thought I was finished.
You might have been...
I can't believe you got me away from that thing.
Well, I've had experience with squid and others.
How do I say thanks?
You've already said it.
I guess you ought to know who you saved. I'm David Wells.
David. And I'm Alanay.
Alanay. That's pretty. Sounds Hawaiian.
It isn't. Have you lived here long?
I don't really live here. I'm staying at my aunt's beach house. My home's in Texas.
Texas? I don't know where that is.
It's about 1,000 miles from here. Inland. But how about you? Have you lived here long?
I've never lived anywhere else.
Where's your house?
Oh,
Up on the hill? Maybe we're neighbors.
no. I don't live on the hill.
Well, where then? I may want to write you a thank you note.
Oh, you don't have to. I live here at the ocean with my father.
Yes, well, I want to thank him, too. For having such a lovely daughter.
Thank you. I must go now.
You can't.
I must.
Well, I'll see you home.
No. You must rest. I must go. I'll see you again.
Alanay. She ran off down the beach, and suddenly she was gone, as though she'd vanished into thin air. And I dragged myself to my feet, and I headed for the house.
David, you look awful. What happened?
I was attacked by a squid.
A squid?
Yes, it got my air tanks, but a girl saved me. She swam up just as I was blacking out.
A girl fought off a squid?
Yes, it's unbelievable, I know.
Oh, I think you're crazy to go galloping around the ocean floor.
That thing was a killer.
These risks you take could be awfully bad for your health. To say nothing of your father's nervous system.
Oh, he ought to be used to it by now.
Oh, he'll never get used to his only son and heir risking his neck.
Dad'll never get me behind a desk at Wells Industries. I may be his heir, but I'll be an absentee president.
Oh, speaking of heirs, there's a letter from Ellen.
Oh, damn. Can't she leave me alone for a minute?
Not when there's an alliance with Wells Industries at stake.
I knew I was destined to see Alanay again. I spent the next several days walking the coves and rocks of Laguna, waiting. And then the third day, as I approached the beach, there she was.
Hello?
I've been looking for you.
I know. I had to wait for a chance to get away.
From your father?
Yes. He doesn't like me to spend too much time alone on the beach.
But you live here. Why wouldn't you spend time on the beach?
No, it's too hard to explain. Tell me, how are you feeling?
Oh, fine. the hot bath, and I was as good as ever, thanks to you. But I still owe you my life.
I'm glad I was there. It really wasn't an accident. I've been watching you for more than a week.
You have?
I saw you swimming along the bottom one day. You picked up an abalone.
Well, the day after I got here. Yes, I remember. You mean you were underwater?
Of course.
Well, why didn't I see you?
I didn't want you to. Oh, but I've watched you many days. That's how I happened to be there when the squid attacked you.
You swim without gear.
Yes. I learned how to stay underwater when I was very young.
You only mention your father. Is your mother living?
I never knew my mother.
Neither did I. I was raised by a nurse and a tutor.
Oh, what are they?
You don't know what a tutor is?
Not exactly.
Hey, where'd you go to school? You didn't know where Texas is, either.
My father was my only teacher. What did you do in Texas, David?
As little as possible. I'm usually skipping around the world trying to keep from dying of boredom.
Oh, but you're so attractive. I think you'd have lots of friends, lots of excitement.
And I have lots of acquaintances, but no friends. Except one, maybe. My Aunt Lou.
Your aunt?
Yes, she's my father's sister, but she's been the best friend I've ever had.
Strange to think of a relative as a friend.
Not when you meet Aunt Lou. And you will, Alan. I'd like to invite you to the house for dinner. Your father, too.
Oh, that would be impossible.
Oh, why?
My father would never let me come.
Oh, well, he's invited, too.
Oh, but that would be even more impossible. We couldn't come, ever.
I don't see why.
We can only meet here on the beach, David. I can't enter your world.
What do you know of my world?
Enough to know that a few pleasant moments are all we can have together.
Well, that can change. I want to see you here every day.
I can be here. We'll swim together. Oh, I will show you many beautiful things.
After that, we met every day and swam through fantastic underwater gardens I never knew existed. Alan A. could stay under for 10 to 15 minutes at a time without any gear. And it was then that I knew Alan A. was no ordinary girl.
David, why don't you try swimming without those tanks? I can show you how to breathe underwater.
I believe you can.
I can't enter your world, but maybe you can be part of mine.
What is your world?
The sea. Isn't it obvious?
I'm not sure I want to believe what I'm thinking.
Come, let's swim. I'll teach you how to breathe. Leave your tanks here.
We dived into the water, and I followed the instructions Alan A. had given me. And for 2 minutes, I actually breathed underwater. But then my lungs filled with water. I struggled to the surface, my lungs bursting.
I'll help you to shore, David. You'll be all right.
Stick to the tank. I'm not ready for this. You've had more practice than I have.
But you did fine for the first time.
No, I'm last.
Oh, you'll learn. It's important to me.
Why? Why should it be important?
You'll know someday. You'll learn. Please.
There was something about the way she looked when she said it. Something in her voice that made me know that somehow my destiny was wrapped up in this beautiful girl. And one day...
David, I'd like to meet your Aunt Lou. I can come tonight if you like.
I'm delighted to meet you, Alan A. David talks of nothing else but your days together.
Thank you.
And, of course, we're grateful to you. I'd hoped to meet you long before this.
Alan A. is the shy type, I'm afraid, Aunt Lou.
My father finally said it would be all right.
Oh, we're delighted. That's a very unusual dress. Did you get it in the village?
I wove it myself from seaweed.
Really? What a sensation that would make at the Glenwood Country Club.
You're not serious, Aunt Lou.
Oh, could you make me one? I'll pay you anything you want.
Of course. I'd be happy to.
Well, I'll hold you to that. Now, you two go out on the terrace. I'll look after the dinner.
Do I really look all right, David? I've never been up in the town before.
Oh, of course you do. You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Oh, David, don't say things that...
I mean it. Alame, I'm in love with you.
Oh, David, I've loved you from the first time I saw you. But I knew it was impossible. And then I found a way. I found a way for us to be together.
But why was that so much of a problem?
Because of my father. I told you I couldn't live in your world.
But you can if it's what we... Oh, good Lord. Ellen.
Oh, I just drove down from L.A., David. You were expecting me, weren't you?
Ellen, what are you doing here?
I told you I was coming. You did get my letter, didn't you?
The letter.
You didn't even open it. But here I am. And none too soon, it seems. Why don't you introduce me to your friend? We haven't met.
The evening was uncomfortable, to say the least. Alane left immediately after dinner, and Ellen spent the rest of the evening trying to find out who she was and whether to consider her a rival. I didn't tell Ellen how I felt about Alane. As the days passed, Ellen never left my side. And not surprisingly, Alane was never on the beach. One afternoon, while Ellen napped and Aunt Lou worked on a macrame, I slipped down to the beach. As I stood looking out at the sparkling sea, I saw a shape moving far out in the water. A porpoise, perhaps. It was a huge fish of some sort. It swam with terrific speed. And as it came closer, I suddenly saw long, blonde, flowing hair. Alane was swimming toward me, undulating her body like a fish. She came sweeping in on a giant break and ran.
Oh, David, I knew she wasn't with you today. That's why I came.
Yes, but where have you been? I've looked for you every day.
How could I come to you with her around? She's yours, your world. Oh, but David, if you love me, really love me, there's a chance you can live in my world.
Where is that? You won't tell me.
I'll take you there now, today. My father said he would meet you. Oh, please, David.
Yes, of course, I'll come.
Then hurry. Get your breathing things. Those tanks.
My tanks? Why?
Because we're going to meet my father.
It's not every young suitor who goes to meet his prospective father-in-law wearing scuba gear. But then there aren't many young men who fall in love with such a lovely yet mysterious girl. If you're as anxious as I am to meet Alane's father, stay right here. I'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the beach at Laguna. In the warm sun and the soft sea air, it's hard to imagine or feel anything unusual. Hard to think that Alane is anything but an attractive young girl. But as we promised, we're all going to meet her father, an event for which David Wells has gone back to the house for his air tanks. You won't need them, though. Come along and let's join David and Alane as they prepare to meet Alane's father.
Don't be alarmed, David.
But where are we going? Why do I need my tanks?
It's a long swim to my father's home. You haven't learned yet how to stay underwater without them. That will come in time.
We swam deeper than we ever had before. I followed down through the coral, deeper and deeper until there shouldn't have been any sunlight. But as we swam easily along the ocean floor, the light seemed to get brighter. I was completely spellbound. I forgot everything except the fantastic beauty around me. Two large gates loomed in front of us. They swung open as Alane approached, and we swam down a pearl-covered corridor which opened into a magnificent underwater room. Reclining on a bed of coral was a merman, half man, half fish. He was ageless, stern, menacing.
Alanay touched my hand and drew me closer.
Father, this is David.
So, you are the mortal who has captured my Alanay's heart.
I couldn't answer. I couldn't speak underwater as they could. And now I knew the difference between us. I knew what Alanay meant about her father and her world.
I don't expect words from you, mortal man. But now you know. I agreed to this meeting to prove to you and to Alanay that a union between you is utterly impossible.
But, Father, David can learn to live here as we do. In your kingdom, nothing is impossible if you will it. You permitted me to venture on the beach.
Yes, to see it, to learn of it, but never to make an alliance with it.
But when you agreed to meet David, I thought...
I told you why I agreed to let him come here. I didn't have to go to the trouble, but I wanted you to see what happens to a mortal man in our kingdom.
As he spoke, my air began to give out. I'd switched to the auxiliary tank much earlier, and now I was down to the danger level. I had to get to the surface.
Alanay, look at your mortal man. Already his air is used up. It is finished.
Father, you mustn't. Let me take him back.
No, it is finished.
Let him go, Father. I promise I'll forget him. Don't let him die.
What difference should it make to you?
Father, please, let me take him back.
You stay, Alanay. I will permit Iksar to show him the way.
But hurry.
David, can you hear me? It's Ellen.
Ellen?
I'm here, darling.
I thought I was dying. My air gave out.
You almost drowned.
How did I get here?
Well, some people on the beach dragged you out of the water. That they saved your life.
I can't remember.
They said some kind of giant fish pushed you to shore. Oh, David, do you want anything? A tea or water?
A double scotch.
Oh, no, the doctor said no for 48 hours. You've had a sedative.
Oh, you wouldn't believe what I've been through. I followed Alanay to the depths of the sea. To Neptune's kingdom. I was there. I saw it. I met her father.
David!
I know. You think I'm crazy, but she took me there to see if I could live in her world. Her world at the bottom of the sea.
Oh, well, what was her father like?
Half man, half fish. He sat on a coral throne. What am I saying? I can't believe it.
David, hallucinations are common when...
No. This was not an hallucination. I was there. It happened.
Darling, as soon as you can travel, we're going back to Dallas.
I knew I'd never see Alanay again, and I was tired of diving. So 2 days later, we flew back to Texas. Helen wanted to stay and nurse me, but I persuaded her I wanted to be alone for a while. Dad was in Europe, and only our housekeeper, Mrs. MacArthur, was there. And, of course, Napoleon. How's the boy, Napoleon? Huh?
Nothing, Napoleon. Get down.
Yeah, you're glad to see me, aren't you, Nappy?
David, I was worried sick about you after Ellen called.
I wish she hadn't. I'm glad Dad's in Europe.
You sure you're all right?
Well, would I be here if I weren't?
Now, why don't you go up and take a nice hot tub and not put your things away?
Okay, sounds good. Come on, Napoleon.
It's always good when you come home, David.
Hello?
David?
Oh, hi, Ellen.
Oh, I thought you were going to call me yesterday.
I'm sorry, I stayed over in the city.
And what were you doing in town?
No, I was checking out a new hunting rifle.
Well, whatever. We're still going to the theater tomorrow?
Oh, yes, of course. I've got the tickets.
Don't lose them.
What was that?
Oh, never mind.
Okay, I'll pick you up for dinner tomorrow.
No need. I'll stop by. I found a painting at the town gallery that's perfect for your foyer. I'm dying to see how it looks, and we'll go on from there.
It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Don't you agree, David? Just the thing for the foyer.
I guess so.
You don't sound overwhelmed.
No, maybe I'm not.
David, is it me?
No, Ellen.
Then what is it? Is it that girl in Laguna? Did she mean so much to you?
Well, I think about her, yes. But that's over. It's over completely. I'm not even sure it ever was.
Oh, well, I'm glad for that. Come on, let's go. Oh, I do hope Armand has lobster tonight. I'm dying for some really good lobster.
I wonder what ails Napoleon.
He's such a nuisance sometimes.
Ellen, wait a minute.
What is it?
I thought I just saw a figure at the end of the path. It slipped into the shadows.
Mrs. MacArthur?
Oh, no way. It was much too small.
Well, then it's a prowler.
All right, look, I'll handle this. You stay here.
I'm staying with you.
Napoleon has stopped barking.
Well, then maybe it's nothing.
Hello? Who's there? I saw you.
Let's get to the car, David.
Look, if there's someone here, I've got to... Wait a minute.
What is it?
There's a puddle of water in the path.
Well, maybe the gardener.
Charles didn't water here today. Everything else is dry except that one patch of water. It hasn't rained for 3 days.
Well, what about it?
Well, why would there be one spot of wet ground when everything else is dry? A search of the ground turned up nothing. Ellen and I had our dinner, went to the theater, and I took her home. As I walked from my garage to the house, I saw a figure slip from the shadows.
David.
What? Who was there?
It's me, David. Alan. I found you. I knew I could.
How did you get here?
My love for you brought me here. I defied my father. I, too, am gifted with special powers. As his daughter, I have been given certain birthrights. Powers to do what may seem impossible to you. And so I'm here. Oh, I hope you're glad to see me, David.
Oh, I'm overwhelmed.
I saw you going out with her earlier tonight. That's why I disappeared.
That was you in the shadows?
Yes. I couldn't approach you when you were with her.
Oh, forget her. You're here, and that's all that matters. You can live in my world.
Oh, I know I can, David. I'll learn. You see, I can live out of water. All I need to learn is how to please you. She's a charming child, David. But it bothers me that she followed you from Laguna. Nice girls don't do that. What about her parents?
She only has a father.
And Ellen? Does she know she's here?
No, and I don't want her to know. Not now, anyway.
Well, it's not going to be easy. Well, David, it's your life, and you do what you want with it.
I love her, Mrs. MacArthur. We both know it, and we know it's right. I didn't tell Mrs. MacArthur all I knew about Alan. She wasn't ready for that. And I wasn't sure I was either. I kept thinking back to that incredible meeting with her father. A meeting I knew was real.
I knew you wanted me, David. I wouldn't have come to you if you didn't.
I want you, Alan, completely.
You told her?
No, not yet.
I'm so happy, David. So happy. But so uneasy.
Uneasy? Why?
For defying my father. I just hope...
Hope what?
That he understands.
I broke off with Ellen, who wasn't happy about it, but wasn't too surprised either. The weeks rolled by, and Alan and I fell deeper in love than ever. It was magic. A magic I never knew or dreamed about. And then it began. A shadow of terror to spoil our paradise. It was late autumn now, and one Friday night we had all gone to bed early. The clock said 2 a.m. when I awoke like a shot.
A sound had sliced through my subconscious. I jumped out of bed and raced to the hall.
David, what's the matter?
It's Napoleon, Mrs. MacArthur. He's fighting with someone.
Fighting?
Yes, I'm going to find out. Now, you stay here.
No. Let me come with you. I raised Napoleon. I can help.
Come along, then. Hurry. The sound came from the gazebo.
It stopped. Does that mean...
Oh, no. Napoleon.
Oh, he's soaking wet.
Napoleon.
He's dead, David. Torn apart.
Who could have done this? Why?
Oh, he's soaking wet.
Napoleon.
No, I wouldn't touch him, David.
Mrs. MacArthur. Look. Look here on his fur.
Oh, those white legs.
Yes. They're fish scales. The fur smells of salt water.
Salt water, David? In the middle of Texas?
It's a fact that the waters of the world cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface. Little wonder that the power of the sea can make itself felt far inland from the sparkling beaches. But what effect will it have on the lives of David Wells and the child of the sea, Alone? What killed Napoleon and left him soaked with salt water? We'll learn the chilling answers when I return shortly with Act 3. It seems as though the sea has reached out to touch David Wells' life again. His dog Napoleon, killed by an unseen force that left the animal soaked in seawater and covered in scales. With things like this happening, I wonder what's in store for David and Alone.
David, whoever did this must still be on the ground.
Now, let's get back to the house fast. I'll take care of Napoleon later. I want you and Alone to stay inside.
What are you going to do?
Get my gun.
I think we should call the police.
No, don't do that right now. But you keep Alone inside, if you can.
David.
Alone, get back to the house. I told you.
Oh, David, thank God you're all right. He won't hurt you if I'm with you.
Go back with Mrs. MacArthur.
But you must come with me now. I'm your only protection.
What do you mean?
He's after me. He won't hurt me, but he'll kill anything that threatens him. That's why Napoleon...
Father wants you, Alone.
From the shadows stepped a man covered in a robe. The robe was torn and bloodied. The face was hidden deep inside the hood of the robe, but the chill that ran down my back. It was the man-fish that had carried me out of Alone's underwater home.
Your father wants you back, Alone.
I have found a new power.
Now look here.
Let me, David. Tell my father that I am staying here, Issa.
She's staying with me.
I have not come all this way to turn around and leave. You're coming with me.
Stay back. Don't touch her.
That weapon doesn't threaten me.
I said don't touch her.
David, don't.
Can't you realize these bullets mean nothing to me? Mortal man.
You were always my friend, Issa. Why are you doing this?
We miss you, Alone. I miss you. You are not a child of the land, no matter what you think or say about love.
Oh, let me stay. Tell my father you couldn't find me.
I can only tell him you refuse to return.
But he'll punish you for not taking me back by force.
No, he won't. But if you insist on this way, then you'll have to take the punishment he plans for you.
He cannot punish me here.
Perhaps you'll have to find out for yourself. I'll give your father your message.
Thank you, Issa.
You're thanking me for nothing. You know, if your father wants you back, he'll get you back.
I'm sorry, David. I tried to stop her.
It's all right, Mrs. MacArthur. We're okay.
And I still think we ought to call the police. There may be a maniac on the loose. What he did to poor Napoleon.
Oh, no, it was probably another dog.
But the seawater.
It's over, Mrs. MacArthur. Forget it.
Forget it. How can I forget what happened tonight?
Well, there's no more danger. They've taken care of Napoleon's body. Let's not have any more about it.
All right, David. If you say so.
I couldn't tell Mrs. MacArthur the truth. How could I tell her what had happened that night? I decided that Alanay and I should be married as soon as possible. I knew the family would never stand for an elopement, so I called Aunt Lou and asked her to come to Dallas.
Of course I'll arrange the wedding, David. I'm delighted to be asked.
Don't make it too fancy. Just invite those you think are a must.
But you've told your father.
Yes, we called him in South America.
I've got to admit I'm surprised. Are you sure this is what you want?
Absolutely.
But following you here from Laguna, and what about her father?
Aunt Lou, remember what I told you about my visit to her father? Where I'd been, what I'd seen?
Well, yes, we talked about it.
And you thought that it was a hallucination. Well, that was real, Aunt Lou. As real as Alanay is. And now her father's trying to get her back.
He's been here?
He sent a messenger. The same one who brought me ashore that day.
David, are you asking me to believe this girl is actually from the sea?
Yes.
May I come in?
Alanay, of course.
Mrs. MacArthur told me you arrived, Aunt Lou. I'm so happy to see you again.
Hello, Alanay. It seems we have some important plans to make.
Oh, yes. It's so nice of you to arrange it all. My family couldn't possibly do it.
Yes, so I understand.
We'll leave everything to you.
What's the matter, Alanay?
Water. Get...
Sit up. Put your arms over your head.
Water.
Aunt Lou, help me.
Water. Tub. David, water.
Aunt Lou, quick. Fill the tub. As fast as you can.
That tub, David.
Do it, I say.
I'll do it, but I don't see how that's going to
help me. David. Water.
Look.
Water.
I'll carry you. Here. Put your arm around my neck.
Now I know how you help.
Quiet. Stop talking.
Oh, the poor girl needs a doctor. I'll call Dr. Lewis.
Lou, just stand back and don't try to interfere. It's half full, Alanay. Do you want to start in? There you go. Down you go.
David, no. What are you doing? David!
Stand back. She's all right now. She can breathe now.
She's underwater. She breathes underwater.
The cup's full enough now. Alanay is all right now. For a while.
David.
Aunt Lou. Alanay floated face down on the tub. The slight movement of her back told me she was breathing easily. And I knew that her father was keeping his word. He'd have Alanay back, and I was powerless to fight him.
I think I'm all right.
You better stay under a little longer.
I want to see if I can... Yes. I can breathe in the air. David, if I was right, my father is stronger than I am. He won't let us be together.
I didn't want to believe it, but I knew Alanay was right. The breathing attack was her father's spell, drawing her back to the sea. We both knew the attacks would continue, and Alanay might possibly die.
I must go back, David. We tried, but it's not for us.
I know. I'll take you to Laguna.
That's not necessary. The Gulf is closer. I'll slip in there. The entire sea is my home. It doesn't matter.
No, I want to say goodbye to you where I first met you. We'll go to Laguna. It was a dark, gray day. Alanay and I walked to the ocean and stood on the large rock we'd shared so many happy times before.
This isn't goodbye. Every time you're near the sea, we'll be together. This is the test, David. If our love is really strong, nothing can keep us apart. Maybe our future is just beginning.
Alanay, don't go. We'll work something out. Special pools for you, something.
David, I must. They're waiting for me. I can feel the forces now. But our love will win. You'll see, David. You'll know when the time comes.
Alone.
You'll know, David. You'll know when the time comes.
Hello.
Hello, David. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, Aunt Lou. You want your house back?
Oh, not exactly. I've got to be on the coast next week for an art exhibit in L.A., and I'll be using the cottage.
Well, come on along. Seeing you will be like the first breeze of summer.
Well, I'll be there on Sunday. Oh, your father's back from South America.
Oh?
Delighted you're not engaged anymore and convinced more than ever you're crazy.
Well, come on out and give me more laughs, huh? The past week has been like a wake.
Oh, see you Sunday.
You miss her very much, David?
Completely. But like everything else, I'll get over it.
You want to come into L.A. with me tomorrow? I can't promise a swinging time at the art show, but there's a cocktail reception afterward. Could be fun.
Maybe I will. I'll see.
It wouldn't hurt to get out again.
Oh, hope I'm not wearing out my welcome.
Oh, never.
I'm just not ready to go back to Dallas yet.
David, what's the matter?
Short of breath. All of a sudden.
Oh, it's probably nerves. You've been under such a strain.
Don't I know it? Maybe going into L.A. with you is just what I need.
David, what is it?
I can't breathe. Water. Give you water.
Sit up, David.
No water. What's that water?
I'll get it, David. I'll call Dr. Harris.
Water.
I knew what was happening. I staggered toward the bedroom door, through the living room, and onto the beach. I have to get to the water. Cold sand on a black, starry night. Have to get to the water. Only a few feet now. Into the surf. The gentle rollers welcome me, carrying me deep into the sea. And I breathe easily again. Great, refreshing gulps as I swim with a light, easy sway to the kingdom where my love is waiting. The iridescent fish beckon and lead the way. Alane is waiting with love. As I approach the gates, the underwater flowers sway in greeting. The gates swing open, and I swim into that kingdom, that new world that welcomes me.
Who can say that the force of love, the power of the gods, and the mysteries of the sea are not eternal, are not real? Our story was fantasy, you say? Perhaps, but the next time you're near a beach, look out to sea. If you look closely, you may see two figures swimming and frolicking in the waters. Porpoises, probably, but then again, I'll be back shortly.
Hey there, fellas. How y'all?
Morning, Sheriff. Nice to see you, Sheriff.
Hey, howdy, Sheriff.
Hey, I ain't seen much you boys on the highway lately. Y'all ain't been chasing routes to avoid me now.
Not me, Sheriff.
No way, Sheriff.
No, sir.
See, I hear tell a lot of you 18-wheelers on them Johnson CB radios.
You mean the new 40-channel Johnson CBs with tapered automatic noise limiters?
And dual crystal filtering?
And that nifty new power bar LED meter? Electronic speech compression?
With Johnson's new range control?
And their X300D phase lock loop frequency synthesizer? Nope, Sheriff. None of us truckers ever heard of them new Johnson CBs. Till you mentioned it just now.
You know, when a trucker hits the road with his Johnson CB, he knows he's got a lot going for him. Why, in a recent survey, 66% more independent truck drivers own an American-made Johnson CB than the next leading brand. Now, which CB's best for y'all? Go with Johnson CB. Clearly the professional's choice.
10-4, Sheriff. Oh, FCC license required. It's free, too.
Yeah. came up for air. And anyway, David and Alan, they certainly don't want us around anymore. Two's company and three is certainly not a honeymoon. I suspect that a marriage ceremony in that mysterious and beautiful kingdom of the sea is something spectacular to behold. And the honeymoon. Well, we'll just have to use our imaginations. Our cast included Tony Roberts, Evie Juster, Bryna Rayburn, and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.